Well, here we are at the beginning of our wedding, which we had no control over. We weren't even given a guest list to approve. We were allowed to invite family members. That's my sister walking with producer Eddie Feldman, my daughter, the flower girl, Melissa, called her Mitz, and Bob and I walked down the so-called aisle together. This wedding was being performed on a sound stage next door to Hogan's set. And at the time, it was the first only actual wedding performed in Hollywood on a sound stage. Everything was a phony wedding, a dramatic wedding. Now it's quite popular. A lot of people are doing it. Oh, Bob is here. I always call marrying an eyeball. That's all you see of me throughout the whole film. And I do not know the name of the, that was a Supreme Court judge that Eddie arranged for.
The family was the first
Oh, he couldn't pronounce my wedding name, my first married name, which was Atea, and nobody could pronounce it, so Ariai or something called me.
Most of the poetry and all of the romance of the human race has been inspired.
And then Bob, I don't know if he wasn't listening or was nervous or what, but you see him in a moment, when they ask him to repeat after me, he does this like, what, huh, type of thing, and it cracked him up. And he joked later about, great time to blow your lines. Eddie was great. I'm so sad that he's gone. He was such a terrific man. Real wonderful human being. And that's my gorgeous sister, who was then married to Eric Braeden, who stars on The Young and the Restless. I think he's the top male soap star in America. And they've been married for a while. That's my little girl. The thing that created this is, since we met on the show, we wanted to celebrate our marriage and worked with these people almost daily. We considered the show a family, everyone from the, from a gopher to the cameraman to whatever, and invite their families. And this would involve about 350, 400 people. And Bob was broke when I married him because he'd just come out of a divorce. In fact, he was in debt. He had to borrow money from his lawyer to get through the divorce. So we couldn't afford to get married in that type of wedding. So Eddie Feldman generously, with Bing Crosby Productions, who owned Hogan's Heroes, put on this huge wedding, and they just took over. I never saw the wedding. I didn't even see my bridal bouquet until it was handed to me when I walked in the room. Bob thought he was going to get married as Hogan, but I think the reasons Crosby actually put this wedding on was for publicity for the show, and it was a write-off for them, basically. My wedding was a write-off.
Patricia, this ring I give thee. This ring I give thee. In token and in pledge. In token and in pledge.
In token and in pledge.
Of our constant faith and abiding love.
Our constant faith and abiding love.
Would you join your right hands, please? Now, in the company of these witnesses, you having each to the other made these solemn promises, and having sealed it by the giving of this ring, by virtue of the power vested in me as the judge of the Los Angeles Municipal District, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Great shot of the kiss.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess I'd lost up my line.
Right there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know the line. All right, that's the rehearsal. Now yeah, Eddie wants to know if we can do a pickup on that. Can we get the kids to bride? Yes, if we could get the immediate Hogan cast up here for some pictures. Larry,
Yeah, I got married in the Hilda wig. A funny story, quickly, I hope I can get it in. I got married in a Hilda wig, and the next day we got on a United plane to fly to New York. And under the wig, I was a brunette. My hair was about the color of my daughter's or my sister's. And when flight took off, the stewardess came up and asked if she could speak to Bob privately in the back, and he followed her and he came back laughing. And I said, what was that all about? And he said they'd read that he'd married the blonde on the show, and they'd gotten a little wedding cake to present to us, and they don't know what to do with it because he's sitting with a brunette. They're introducing people that you're not seeing. You're only seeing me talking to my daughter, Melissa.
This is my dad, and this is Patty's sister, Dale.
Are you doing anything tonight, Patty?
Yes, I am.
Right now, the only sad thing about this is looking at Larry's face. He passed away about a year ago, I guess, from lung cancer. He was a sweetheart. He was my best friend on the show after Bob. We had no control of the guest list at all, except we could invite family members or family friends. But the production office, Eddie Feldman, Hogan's Productions, controlled the guest list and who'd invite from the press and CBS executives and all those people. And when they'd invited a lot of the gossip columnists and everything. But when we got there, Rona Barrett wasn't there, and she was a very good friend of ours. So the next day after the wedding, she called and was furious, with Bob, why she wasn't invited. And he had to explain to her that he was actually furious with Eddie Feldman for not inviting her, and because she'd always been very, very generous to us and very kind to us. And she took the explanation very well when she realized we hadn't personally excluded her. They had decorated this whole soundstage very beautifully. They had a gazebo there that we were married in, and they had a 40s band so Bob could sit in and drum. And people were dancing. Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. And while I'm narrating or speaking about this, you probably have seen me smiling since it first came on. I just cannot not smile. It's a happy, happy day. And we've been together about 4 years, and we were deliriously happy.